Hi, and welcome back to Gardog the Gamorrean Star Wars Miniatures Tutorials. In this video, we are going to have a look at a number of the different special abilities that characters may have. While I can't possibly cover every ability in this video, I'm hoping that once you understand these ones, the rest should be fairly easily understood. Just make sure that you read the description of any special ability or commander effect carefully, and pay attention to when, and how, they apply. Firstly, let's look at a special ability that I've already mentioned in one of my previous videos, Cunning Attack. With Cunning Attack, we gain a +4 to attack, and +10 damage, when attacking an enemy that hasn't activated yet this round. It's fairly straightforward, but the critical part is whether the enemy has activated this round or not. If you need help identifying who has or hasn't activated in a round, please refer to my 5th video which discussed setup and the order of play. If you have a character with the Cunning Attack ability, you will probably want to try and activate them earlier during each round where possible, to take advantage of this ability. Effectively, the opposite of Cunning Attack is Opportunist. We still get +4 to attack, and +10 damage, but this time, only if the enemy has already activated. So with this one, you would look to activate these characters later in any given round if you can. Then there are ones like Advantageous Attack and Deceptive, which are similar to Cunning Attack and Opportunist in that they only apply if the enemy has or hasn't activated, but with these, we only get the +10 damage, and not the +4 to attack. Probably the most common special ability is Melee Attack. On many stats card, Melee Attack won't show its description, but the description was included on the cards in the earlier sets, and a rule book if you happen to get your hands on one. A character with this ability can only attack adjacent enemies. A perfect example of this would be any Jedi. You would expect a Jedi to only be armed with a lightsaber, and not any sort of blaster, so could only attack someone who was standing next to them. Other examples of characters that would have melee attack would be creatures like the Wampa that captured Luke on Hoth, or Jabba's pet Rancor. Just pay particular attention if your enemy has any creatures in their squad. Although they may have melee attack, a number of them also have an ability called Melee Reach 2, which allows them to make a melee attack up to 2 squares away. To put a real-world slant on the game mechanics, we are effectively saying that a Rancor has long arms and can reach enemies that are a touch further away. The next ability to look at is Unique. This is another one where there usually isn't a description on the stats card. If a character is unique, that character can't be in a single squad more than once. This includes other versions of the same character. As an example, we couldn't have 2 Chewbacca's in the same squad, or a Darth Vader Dark Jedi, and a Darth Vader Sith Lord, in the same squad. On the other hand, you can have many of the same non-unique character in a squad, so you could have a number of Stormtroopers in a squad, or perhaps many battle droids. One thing to be aware of if you have unique characters in your squad, is if you come up against any bounty hunters like Boba Fett or Greedo. They have the Bounty Hunter +4 special ability, which gives them +4 attack against unique enemies. Another fairly common special ability is Droid. There are 2 important parts with this one. They are immune to critical hits, and not subject to commander effects. When it says they are immune to critical hits, it means that they won't suffer double damage if the attacker rolls a 20. A roll of 20 would still be an automatic hit. It just won't do double damage. Then we have, not subject to commander effects. So, even if they met all criteria of a commander effect, things like being non-unique, a follower, and within 6 squares, they still won't benefit from the commander effect. But be careful, this just means that this character doesn't benefit from them. It doesn't mean that an enemy attacking your droid couldn't receive a benefit from a commander in their squad. Double Attack. When activating a character who has double attack, you have the option of moving and attacking as normal, or if you forego moving this turn, you can make 2 attacks. The attacks can be against different enemies, but each enemy must be a legal target at the time that each attack takes place. And just a tip for you, you don't have to declare that you are using double attack or not, until you either do or don't. You could firstly attack, and then depending on the result of that attack, you may then decide to attack a second time or move. There are also a couple of characters that have triple attack, and even quadruple attack. Similar to double attack is twin attack, but there are a couple of critical differences. The first difference is that twin attack doesn't require you to not move during your turn. This character could move up to their speed and then attack twice. The other important part is that both attacks must be against the same target. And if you were to defeat the target enemy on the first attack, the second attack is not able to be used. A handy special ability is Accurate Shot. With this one, you can attack an enemy with cover, even if it isn't the nearest one. Effectively, this character can attack any enemy that it has line of sight to. But, just because this ability changes who you can attack, it doesn't affect whether an enemy has cover or not. Another good one is Evade. Whenever this character is hit by an attack from a non-adjacent enemy, effectively shot by a blaster, they have a 50% chance of not taking any damage from it, by rolling an 11 or greater. One of the best, but also most annoying when used by your enemy, is Stealth. If a character with Stealth has cover and is more than 6 squares away, they don't count as the nearest enemy, so they wouldn't be a legal target. This one can get a bit tricky, so let's have a look at an example. Here we have Chewbacca, and he would like to attack the Scout Trooper. Although the Scout Trooper is the nearest enemy, he is 7 squares away, has cover and the Stealth special ability, so he doesn't count as the nearest enemy. Therefore, he's not a legal target. The Imperial officer would now be considered to be the nearest enemy, so only he, and Darth Vader, who doesn't have cover, would be legal targets. And if that Scout Trooper was the only enemy that Chewie had line of sight to, he wouldn't be able to attack anyone at all. But if we return to the previous example, and this time move Chewbacca forward just 1 square, the Scout Trooper's stealth ability would no longer be applicable, and the standard rules for legal targets would apply. There's an ability that is effectively a more powerful version of stealth, and that is Cloaked. If this character has cover, they can't be attacked by non-adjacent enemies. Think the same as stealth, but you don't need to be 6 squares away, just not adjacent. The next one I want to mention is Mobile Attack. This character can move both before and after attacking. With this ability, a character has the option to move, attack and then move again in a single turn. But keep in mind that they can still only move up to their speed, which is normally 6, in a single turn if attacking. For instance, they may choose to move 4 squares to give them a clear shot at an enemy, attack, and then move another 2 squares so they have cover. There is also an ability called Greater Mobile Attack. It's similar to Mobile Attack, but with this one, you can make multiple attacks, like if you had double attack, and still move both before and after attacking. The critical part though is that you must complete all attacks before moving again. You would need to move, attack twice and then move again. You can't move, attack, move, and then attack again in a single turn. And just to be clear, while you would need Greater Mobile Attack to use your double attack ability in the same turn as moving, it is not the same situation with Twin Attack. Twin Attack allows you to make a second attack whenever you make an attack, which means you could use it in conjunction with just the regular Mobile Attack. The last ability I want to highlight here is Recon. Unfortunately, the wording for Recon makes it more confusing than it needs to be. To make it easier to understand, simply ignore the part where it mentions a character with Recon in the same squad. This ability can be more simply explained as, if, at the time of rolling for initiative, this character has line of sight to an enemy, you can roll twice for initiative, and select either result. Just before we wrap up this video, I need to mention the term stacking. In general, bonuses stack. In other words, we can gain multiple bonuses from various places. For example, we may have a character with 8 for attack, they have an ability granting them an extra 4, and maybe a commander effect giving them another 4, effectively making their attack 16. However, you can't stack a special ability or commander effect with itself. For example, if I had 2 Stormtrooper officers in a single squad, and both were within 6 squares of the same Stormtrooper, the Stormtrooper would only gain +3 to attack, not +6. But on the other hand, if we have different abilities or effects, but with the same overall result, they do stack. An example of this would be the commander effects of the Wookiee leaders Maru Maru and Tarful. Maru Maru grants the close quarters fighting ability to all allied Wookiees, which gives a +4 bonus to attack against adjacent enemies. Then we have Tarful giving followers within 6 squares, a +4 to attack against adjacent enemies. So if you had another Wookiee who was a follower, in a squad with both commanders and within 6 squares of Tarful, they would actually gain a total of +8 to attack when attacking adjacent enemies. Hopefully this video has helped you understand some of the more common special abilities that various characters have. In the next video, we'll look at a couple more, but those ones are used in place of making a regular attack, such as grenades. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll join me again soon.